Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Mohammad Badruddin and today we are going to solve another lab number 4 from Information Disclosure Vulnerability module from Web Security Academy by Proxy. In this lab, we have authentication bypass via information disclosure. So now you can imagine that information disclosure can harm you in any way. Just it depends on the level of information, how secret and how private and how important information is that. So before going to the lab, this disclaimer as always for you: this video and its contents are only for educational purpose and I do not support any unethical or illegal act. That's been said, let's see what's inside this lab. Authentication bypass via information disclosure. Okay, and how we can bypass the authentication we will see in the agenda. So this lab's administration interface has an authentication bypass vulnerability, but it is impractical to exploit without knowledge of custom HTTP header used by the front end. In the previous modules, whatever I have covered up to now from the Web Security Academy, many times I discuss non-standard HTTP headers. And in this lab, we are going to see again. Next is to solve the lab, obtain the header name, then use it to bypass the lab's authentication, access the admin interface and delete the Carlos account to solve the lab. And for this lab, we have a valid user credential. The username is Wiener and the password is Peter. Very well, let's go to the lab. So before authenticating this application to login, I already open up the burp suite and I disabled the intercept so that on fly we cannot be interrupted by the burp suite every time when we make any request, but we silently capture the request in that way. So I'm going to enable the burp proxy on my web browser, and you can also make this setting in the network settings section of this browser, but it is a pain every time you go inside the setting, open a new tab and then go to the network setting and enter the value and the port number, the IP address. So this is a little plugin or adds-on for Mozilla Firefox. This is Foxy Proxy. Here you configure your proxy settings, and whenever you need you can enable just to check it. And as you can see, burp is enabled on my browser. So let's go and log in with the given credential. Username is Wiener and the password is Peter. Hit enter, don't save, go back to the burp suite, and as you can see we capture the traffic. But the thing is, it's saying that in the administration interface we have the vulnerability, and the vulnerability is authentication bypass. So first of all we need to find out that what is the directory, or what is the complete URL or URI with which we can access the administration section. So for this we need to go for the directory enumeration, and I am going to make it with GoBuster. So GoBuster directory enumeration, don't show the progress, then the word list, user share word list and GoBuster, then directory, and directory is going to be 2.3 medium, and then the URL, so space hyphen u switch for the URL, and we can take only this URL up to here. So I'm going to copy this URL, come here and paste that URL. Then because this is the HTTPS, so I don't wanna see, I wanna avoid the SSL warnings with -k switch, and then the number of threads are 40, let's say, and hit enter. So the administration section may be /admin /administrator. Let's try /admin. We are already logged in with Wiener user, but we don't have any administration section link here or tab here to visit the admin panel. So as you can see in the GoBuster result, we have product directory, we have login directory, we have admin directory. Yeah, admin directory is there, and logout is also there. It's done because I just need this one. So hit enter to access the admin panel or admin interface, but there is a warning. The warning is admin interface only available to local users. Now I want to actually see this request, admin request, and as we can see here, this is the get request, right? So sec fetch mode negative, sec fetch destination is document, and site is none. So we can see few things here, and by seeing these things, I would like to trace the request, trace this request. There are many HTTP methods like get, post, put, trace, option, and all these methods have a specific meaning. You have to know about these methods, right? So I'm going to send this request to the repeater, go to the repeater, and instead of get, I wanna trace. So I want to use in this request this trace method. What is trace method? So the HTTP trace method actually performs a message loopback testing. So in that way, you can debug the request. Just send it, and 200 OK. And now you can see here there is one non-standard HTTP header, which is X custom IP authorization. Fine. So, and here as you can see, this is my user. This is my IP. And my IP is not the IP of the web server. That means if I put here IP like loopback or the loopback IP 127.0.0.1, then the request will go to the web server, and web server consider that request coming from its own machine. So it could trick the web server. Okay, so what I need to do is go back here, and I am just going to take this, copy, come here, paste this here, and instead of this IP, I'm going to set it this and change the request method, same like before, get request, and hit send. And as you can see, the request is sent. Now if I go back and just refresh the page, there is nothing. Why? Because once I refresh the page, it generates the new request, but it does not contain, that request does not contain the X custom IP authorization. It means we can do one more thing. Go to the option, because in each request I want to send that header. So come to the match and replace section, add a new match, and we don't want to match anything, we just want to replace. So once we put this in the replace section, with every request that will be added. So just make it okay. It's added. Now come back here and just refresh the page, and as you can see here, admin panel, now you can see. So go to the admin panel, and to solve the lab we need to delete the Carlos account. So just delete it, and we solve the lab. So I hope you understand the mechanism of that X custom IP authorization header.